Sunny ways, my friends. Sunny ways.
Your 16 seconds are up. I'm going to ask you again because nobody believes you when you say you don't know how much money your family has got from the wheat group. You've had a month to look into that. You knew you were going to testify here. Again, how much money total have your brother, mother, and spouse received from this organization? How much?
That information has been publicly shared. I will highlight.
Well, then tell me what it is.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles sort of thing. Sorry?
The servicing costs on the debt that you're going to have to carry that you're adding to now, right?
Interest rates are at historic lows, Glenn.
There's the funds.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean? Oh, Justin, you're awake. You made it. Have a seat. Have a coffee. You need some wakey time.
Let's cut that Disney Plus subscription. So we cut it. It's only $13.99 a month that we're saving, but every little bit helps.
A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but...
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody. Yeah, that's all that's coming off. There's nothing else coming off, yeah. I'm not Justin Trudeau here. Let's fucking go!
Let's fucking go.
Knockout!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Welcome to Friday Night Fringe here on the channel, not just with myself, but my beautiful wife, Mrs. Fringe, Tiffany Smith, joining us here on the channel. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. We've got some big news to share with everybody here on the channel, some really great news to come in to the stream, but let's hold that off and start with a good old-fashioned jump into the stream and to the chat. Get those thumbs ups in there. Get those LFGs in there, ladies and gentlemen. If it's your first time here, let me know in the chat. If you're a longtime viewer, let me know in the chat. But let's see if we can get somebody from every province in the country chime in. Let us know where you're watching from. And LFG, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it on. Starting it off tonight, we've got Stevo84 coming in from London, Ontario. We've got... Hang on there, guys. We're going to get caught up here. The chat's moving. Justin Roberts, Salmon Arm, BC with the LFG. Welcome in as well. Great to have you here. We got Chris coming in from London, Ontario. The Real Bader Blade coming in from Alberta. Welcome in. We got The Truth. Canadian hates that place here. I know, but welcome in. It's great to have you in here. Mystical joining us once again. Currently in Outworld, engaged in Mortal Kombat. Finish him. Let me finish this. Welcome in. It's great to have you in here. We've got Rachel coming in from Edmonton with the LFG. Let's see. You're moving to Stony Plain. That's a Lib Hub. Get ready to get tickets from the RCMP. I'm not moving to Stony Plain. So there you go. That's let's get caught up in the roll call. Hannibal Lecter coming in Northwest Ontario here. Let's go, everybody. We've got Carson Sexsmith coming in from Porno Viagra in Mexico. The LFGs, welcome in again. It's great to have you back, Carson. We got J-By from Montreal. Welcome into the stream. It's great to have you here. We've got Sir Chris Kringle coming in, a long-time viewer from Ottawa. Great to have you here. As always, we have Ingrid Stewart joining us with her husband, Charlie, from Okotoks. And with the LFGs, welcome in. It's great to have you guys back in the stream. We've got Joker MP1 coming in from Woke, Ontario. in the good old city of Botmares in Toronto. Welcome in. It's great to have you. We've got Lori in Ontario coming in. We've got Donna coming in from Ottawa. Let's see. Who else do we have in here? I see Daphne Devine in here from Calgary. Jason R. from Sault Ste. Marie coming in once again. Danielle Sweeney joining us once again from Newfoundland. Welcome in. It's great to have you here. Great to see you here. Jim H. from Calgary. Good to see you here. We got Tammy coming in from Elliott Lake, Ontario. We've got Zaza coming in from Hamilton, Ontario. How's everybody doing? We got Just Me coming in from Florida. Wow. Hope you're doing okay with the hurricane that's been going on. We're going to talk a little bit about that hurricane tonight here on the channel. But welcome in. Great to have you here. Canadians definitely outpouring in not only condolences, but solidarity with everybody dealing with the terrible hurricane that apparently is caused by climate change. But
we got to pay those taxes.
Welcome into the stream. We've got Linda Crow coming in from Foam Lake. Welcome in. It's great to have you here. We got Jocelyn from Cold Lake coming in. A lot of lakes in here tonight. That's okay. We got Kaylee coming in from Moncton, New Brunswick. We've got who else? We got everybody saying hello to each other. You know, that's one thing I love is that our community is so amazing. Everybody's saying hi to everybody else while we're getting caught up in the roll call. Patrick coming in from is that how do we say that? Tecumseh, is that Tecumseh, Ontario? I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. I apologize. I don't know Ontario very well, so but what I do know very well is Mr. Maceeks, look at me coming in with the LFG from Salmon Arm. Welcome in. It's great to have you here. We've got Reg Porter coming in from Fort Mac and Camp again. Reg, great to have you back in the stream. Thanks for coming in. We've got Night of Flema. I love that Megatron hoodie. That came from Mrs. Fringe, so thank you. I love it too. We got Mike TV Dub reporting in from the Peg. Welcome in. It's great to have you here. Mike St. John coming in from Sudbury, Ontario. Welcome in. We got Brenda from Alberta. Welcome in. Ram 19, LFG, Igloo on the Mountain in Grand Cache, Alberta. Welcome in. Great to have you here. Danielle Sweeney saying, you both look amazing tonight. Well, I only look good because I have Tiffany here with me. And of course, she just adds to making this look better. That's
it's all you, babe.
That's the benefit of having her around. Let's go. We've got Sherry coming in from Southern Alberta. Thank you so much for the compliments. Welcome into the show. We got Mark coming in from Tumbler Ridge, BC. Canada RV joining us from Alberta. Great to have you in again. As always, Canada RV is always a pleasure to have around here, as is everybody else. Trudeau's Economy, LFG's from Calgary. Welcome in. Great to have you here. Diana from Medicine Hat. Welcome in. We've got... let's see. Steve-O saying, hey, man, I watch your channel every day. I feel so sorry for you, but thank you. Welcome in. People got to listen to me every day. You can't even tolerate me every day.
No,
sometimes.
I need a break.
Sometimes people need a break, but hey, I appreciate that. It's Blackface Son of Castro from Secret Trudeau Bunker in Windsor, Nova Scotia. Welcome in with the LFGs. Great to have you back. We've got, whoa, what do we got here? Chris saying, I'm trying to get my wife to move to Nova Scotia. I've heard houses are very affordable there. Congrats if you
and
can
it's
do that.
Beautiful too.
It's
really
gorgeous.
Is.
We had, brother-in-law was from what, Dartmouth?
My brother-in-law?
Yeah. Was it Dartmouth, Nova Scotia?
No.
I thought it was Trenton, Nova Scotia.
And he's there now. So.
He is there now. Lazy Smoke and Jay coming in from Calgary. Welcome in. It's great to have you here. You Thunder coming in from North Quebec. Welcome in. It's great to have you. Guys, I got to get caught up in the chat. And more importantly, I have to get caught up with Danielle Sweeney becoming a member of the Patriots Club. Thank you so much, Danielle, for joining in. I have an announcement to make about those hoodies that we're going to be giving away on the stream. Because I told you that once we move, we'd be giving away those hoodies because we would need an address.
And we need to backtrack. And we
have a new address.
Yeah.
We have sold the house. Conditionally sold.
Yeah,
but
it kind of all happened today.
It all happened last night / today. We went out to Spruce Grove yesterday because we dropped the price of the house to try and influence offers. Took a little bit of a hit, but we just looked at the time on the market. We looked at snow's coming, winter is coming, as they say. And we took a trip up to Spruce Grove. We looked at some houses. You found one that you absolutely fell in love with.
And definitely one we couldn't afford.
One we couldn't afford, but we still put an offer on it, and I found a way. Old Fringe pulled some strings, and I'm good at negotiating, and we actually landed that house. So Mrs. Fringe getting the house that she really wanted. they accepted our offer. And at the same time, they were willing to take an offer on the sale condition.
Yep.
And we didn't even have to invoke that because as we got home, somebody had seen our house, fell in love with it, made an offer. We closed both of them literally at the same time.
Yep.
Because while they called to let us know that our sale had closed on this house, we got the text message to also let us know that the sale was closing on the other house. So literally at the same time, which is really weird given that we were on the market for almost 7 weeks.
So now the only milestone, I need to find a job.
You're going to have to find a job, which is fine because old Fringe will take care of you. And now we got to get our move on to Spruce Grove. What is it? Jesperdale? Is that the community we're moving to? I think it's called Jesperdale. Looking very forward to our move into Spruce Grove. We're moving at the end of November. That was the possession date that was given to us from the people buying the house. So keep your eyes and ears open, ladies and gentlemen. Sometime between now and mid-November, Mrs. Fringe and I will be doing a get-together in Calgary for any Calgary local or around Calgary viewers that want to see us, chat with us, whether you want to get some books signed or anything else, or just sit down and have a chat. We're going to get an event going real soon here. And as soon as we work through planning for our kids going away parties and packing and everything else we got to do.
Yeah, we'll definitely set up an evening and
we're going to set something up. And then we're moving to Spruce Grove roughly 3.5 weeks before Christmas. So at some point we'll get something going on in the Spruce Grove, Edmonton area for everybody out there. Trudeau's Economy, $2 super chat. So when is the meet and greet? That we will get that organized ASAP.
We will definitely let you know.
And we'll let you guys know. Lucas C with a $5 super chat. Wife wants to give Tiffany a coffee break from one mom to another. Enjoy. There you go. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat.
Thank you.
Night of Felima, hope you get a job. Good luck. I mean, you've been looking for a while.
I have. It's been hard because my resume says Calgary and I'm looking in Edmonton. But I think now that we have an official thing, it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, I think. And the jobs you found were paying more.
Yes. Around the same.
On average.
Yeah.
They were paying a little bit more than Calgary. So, hey, silver lining, things are looking really positive for this move. And what's even better, like we had placed an offer. I don't want to spend too much of the stream going into personal stuff, but
not about us.
We lost the first house that we put the bid on.
We did, yeah.
And we liked that house. But all things I say happen for a reason. And this new house, let me tell you, maybe we'll do like a broadcast from the house moving day, something along those lines. But this new house is absolutely gorgeous. I never in a million years thought we could move into a house like this. But it's a brand new house.
Because it's outside of Edmonton, it's cheap.
It's outside of Edmonton, and there's no libtards around there. So, yeah, hey, we're in a good spot. Better. RC Lemieux with a $20 super chat. Congratulations. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So as soon as we get the move done and dealt with, and as soon as we've got keys for the mailboxes, we're going to order hoodies. We're going to do our draws. So in December, at some point, we'll be doing 3 draws for October, November, December.
Which is perfect timing because it's right around Christmas.
Right around Christmas time. So if you guys aren't members of the Patriots Club, make sure to join the Patriots Club. If you want to support the channel, you join the channel down below. There's a little join button next to the subscribe button. I believe it's $5 a month. And when you join the channel, not only does it help us keep the bills paid around here, especially with you leaving your job, but it also puts you in a draw every month to win a embroidered Unacceptable Fringe hoodie. Of course, if you win, we will get it ordered in your size, shipped to you. But just a heads up that once your name gets drawn, we do put you in the back of the rotation so that, we leave it open for everybody else who's in the Patriots Club. Now, if you were a member in October or November and are not a member in December, don't fret. It's okay. We did take a list and inventory of all members' names.
You're still included.
At the end of every month, those names will be included in the draw for those particular months. So you guys are all covered and we're good to go. Part of the reason I wanted to bring up the house move is because a lot of people are saying, and a lot of friends, once they heard we were moving, why are you leaving Calgary? I know we've talked about it a little bit on the stream, but part of the reason, the crime, the woke politics in Calgary, the unaffordability, the skyrocketing level of the cost of living. Now, one of the things I wanted to get into is part of the reason that I think we had such a hard time selling the house. And I think it's where we're going to see a correction in the Canadian market. Because when I spoke with somebody in the real estate business with a little bit of experience, they had told me that the reason that they thought our house was having a hard time selling is because it was a starter style home. And they said, typically the people buying those homes are people who are renting, people who are looking to get out of the rental market, finally get into owning a home. And the biggest problem of all is that as those prices continue to rise, the wages aren't reflecting the cost of living. So at some point, I think it's only 38% of your income can go to your mortgage payment. So at some point, it doesn't matter how much people have for a down payment, their wages aren't allowing them to qualify. That when houses get to $700,000, $800,000, $900,000, people are priced out of even owning a home, even though they're paying just as much as a mortgage and rent, which is very silly that a bank won't say, oh, you've paid $3,000 a month for rent for the last 3 years. You've never missed your rent. So
But
clearly,
hasn't Trudeau changed that they're allowed to?
what Trudeau has changed now, and what Chrystia Freeland touts about all the time, is they've essentially done what the US did, where they're doing never mortgages, as in you finance for 35 years now instead of 30. You can lower your payments, but you're really just accumulating interest. Meaning, if you buy a $500,000 home, you're actually paying about $750,000 for that home by the time you're done on a 35-year term.
Yeah, but there was something that they were going to do that, like before, like renting for 10 years without missing a payment didn't qualify for anything, but that he was going to say that it did.
There was a bill proposed that your rent was going to start, or your phone bills were going to start accumulating on your credit, but it doesn't mean still that you can afford a mortgage. Night of Falima chiming in, I was looking to buy and had a quote that my mortgage was cheaper than renting. So what we're finding is that that's the case, where, say, somebody's paying $3,000 a month to rent a townhome or something in a major city, and they go to the bank and say, with my down payment, my mortgage would be $2,800 or $2,700 a month or something. And the bank looks at it and they go, yeah, but you need a bigger down payment because you're only allowed so much of your wage to go to your mortgage. And what happens essentially is those people now leave the banks and try to save up more. But by the time they get there, houses have gone up again.
They've changed again.
They just continue to, so it's out of reach. It's always out of reach. It's impossible. It seems like owning a home now is a luxury for anybody who was lucky enough to get into the market pre-Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
So this is my fear going forward.
We barely made that, honestly.
Yeah, it's so my fear moving forward is that when you have Pierre Poilievre coming in, who says he wants to lower the amount of people coming into the country, increase the amount of homes being built, cut the red tape to get more houses built, what you have to realize is that, what's everybody hitting the ones for? Did I miss that? Oh, that's not happening.
What is it?
Everybody wants us to make out on camera for a one. No, guys, we're not. I don't want to make kids ask questions. We're not doing that. This is an arranged marriage just for making us look good.
The children have nothing to do with it.
So the kids were just a bonus. It was just, we got drunk one night, 3 times. We got drunk 3 times. Listen, so the problem here is that when you have new homes being built, 65% of Canada's population own houses. If Pierre Poilievre were to come in and build so many homes that suddenly the average homeowner, and we'll use Calgary as a benchmark, that they say that the average median price in Calgary right now is about $610,000 for a house, for a detached single family home. If it was $610,000, Pierre starts building houses, and then all of a sudden tomorrow they're worth $500,000. You're going to have a lot of people who paid at the top of that rung furious with the Canadian government, because all of a sudden they're paying $3,000 a month for a mortgage, or $3,400 based on today's interest rates, that they could have now had for $2,000 a month, and their investment is down the toilet. So this is where I'm saying that when they talk about building more homes, it's not necessarily going to correct the market. What the market needs to do is it needs to peak, it needs to settle there, and wages need to come up, or the amount of income tax that the government takes has to go down, so that people can keep more money and be able to save up faster in order to get the things they want to get in order to be able to live and pay their bills. What are you laughing at?
And there's just lots of comments about us kissing.
The truth says we need income tax reduction to correct the market. Well,
Yes.
that is part of it. And I know Pierre has hinted and said on multiple occasions that we are going to get some form of a reduction. Again, this is the same thing I said if you guys joined me Wednesday night for the surprise stream, that the problem with all of Pierre's promises is that until we see action, it's great to think that we're going to axe the tax, we're going to lower income tax, we're going to increase houses being built, everything's going to be glorious again. But at the end of the day, even if all of those things come to fruition, and I'm pretty sure that most of them will, the money of the deficit that Justin Trudeau has racked up has to come from somewhere.
Oh,
It has to come from somewhere. I know Pierre's talking about cutting a lot of programs. He's going to defund the CBC. They're going to bring money out of those places. I was talking to my good friend Master of Snatch the other day, and he even said the best way to do it is mass deportation. Get everybody out of here and make things better for the citizens that stay here. Mark Pope, correction is coming, and it better include jail time for libs. Yes,
can only hope.
absolutely. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Mr. Steal Your Blocks, a Fringe hoodie would be sick. There you go. So in order to get into that draw, you guys, again, you must be a member of the channel, be a
I
member
kind of
of
want one.
the Patriots Club. I offered to order you one.
I know, but I really want one now that I've seen them.
We've given away one, and I have the only other one in existence because I ordered it as a test to
I
see
think Miss Fringe
how they
needs
would
one.
look. Mrs. Fringe will get one on the next order. It's so
Sweden is
Akasha,
starting to deportations.
Sweden has started deportations because of the backlash in the UK. They're seeing what's going on, and they're starting to say we're not
They
going to have
kind
that
of
here.
start things off everything over there, don't they?
They always get their fingers on the pulse before everybody else. It seems Pierre will never deport anyone except terrorists.
Well, we need him not in charge, so it's not up to him.
It's Pierre?
Not Pierre. I meant Trudeau.
Oh, I was
sorry,
like,
my mind's
you know
not
what?
working. I've worked too hard today.
Master Snatch chiming in. There's only one way to solve our problems: to make housing affordable for our own citizens and to ensure proper pay from employers. That is the biggest thing. So what you've got right now, and we've talked about this before on the stream, is that essentially what companies are doing now is they're bringing in, and you've seen it in your industry, they're bringing in employees from overseas and promising
They're not
them
doing it. I don't see it where I am now
as much.
But before, when oil and gas was big, that's what they were doing.
So they were bringing people over and saying, you know, we'll give you a smaller wage. They didn't care because they were promised citizenship. They were given sponsorship to come over to Canada. So they would take the lower wage.
Like, I know my mom's company right now is trying to do that. Some guys from Argentina or something, but they have to prove that they can't find this guy with these skills here in Canada first,
and that's
before they bring him over.
Part of the problem is they have to prove that they don't have anybody here with the skills to do those jobs, but there's loopholes. They find ways around it.
Before they found ways, it's a lot tougher now.
But the biggest problem, and what I was trying to allude to, is that these corporations, they don't spread the money out amongst their employees that they're saving by hiring these employees. The high ups take all their bonuses. And these are the things that I always try to say when people talk about, in Alberta, especially with voting for the NDP, they always say, well, I like the NDP because they fund healthcare. They fund all the programs we need. And I always have to tell them, no, they don't. They say, well, look at all these millions of dollars they gave to healthcare. That's what they gave to the unions. And the money is going to the high ups in healthcare. Walk into a hospital, even under NDP management.
They're filling their friends' pockets. It's not.
It's getting dispersed amongst the elites. It's not going where it has to. Hospitals are understaffed. They're under-resourced. I mean, try getting a doctor in the province of Alberta right now. I know it's the same Canada-wide, but trying to get a doctor is a headache. So where's the money? That's the biggest problem. So it's not that, oh, well, some parties underfund. I had, I'm going to get into one thing right after this, after Carson Sexsmith, $5 super chat. To move to PV, I had to prove economic solvency. Canada needs to do that. Yes, we have to have stricter rules. I went to see my doctor today, and he's been my doctor for the last 23 years, and he's retiring because he can't afford
to work for free.
He's been told by the government, or well, not by the government, by Alberta Health Services, which is separate, that he has to essentially work for the next 2 years, 60 hours a week for very little to no pay, in order for his practice to stay open or something.
Yeah, by the time he was paying his rental fees on the clinic,
the clinic.
and the staff and everything. He was literally making nothing.
So he decided to retire because he's been in the business for over 30 years. Now, I went and seen him for our final appointment today. And I mentioned to him, he says, I saw Danielle Smith was on your show. I noticed you didn't talk about healthcare. And that was the thing I had to say to the doctor, is that even the doctor who has his opinions about Danielle Smith and what she's doing with healthcare, he says, but this is all union stuff and it's money going to the higher ups. I said, when have you ever seen money come down the chain where it needs to go versus research or somebody getting a grant or somebody taking a bonus and getting their seventh house? That's the problem in the healthcare system. It's not where the funding is going. And part of the reason Danielle Smith is holding off on any aggressive stances with healthcare, keep in mind, she's trying to retool Alberta's healthcare system right now. It's the unions and it's Alberta Health itself that are causing the problems, not Danielle Smith. Mr. Steal Your Blocks, $20 super chat. I make almost $50 an hour as an oil field mechanic and can't afford a house. The country is so effing broken.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I fully agree.
You do need an
Joe
LFG
Lyman,
emoji.
you need an LFG emoji. You know what? I'll have that ready next stream. I
That's
appreciate you
great
reminding
idea.
me. I will get that for next stream. Thank you so much. Aaron Morrison gifting 1 Unacceptable Fringe Patriots Club membership into the chat. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that tonight here on the stream. Let's get into some of the chat here. BC dumped all that hospital staff province-wide because of the Fauci juice and that clown Bonnie. Bonnie Henry is a cancer on BC. We all saw her, what was it, Easter, when she was telling people that you couldn't be around your families during the pandemic, that you can't go over to people's houses, you can't be around. And then she got on a helicopter to go join her family on Vancouver Island over the break. That was the epitome of hypocrisy. Kathy chiming in, there are a lot of wasteful spending in the background of the government that he will cut. Most of the cuts he won't even notice, or we won't notice, sorry. It won't be easy getting out of the mess, that's for sure. So even with all those cuts, though, and this is what I was saying on Wednesday's
He won't
stream,
be able to do it in his first term for sure.
It's going to take time. We all know it's going to take time, but part of it is that even with all those cuts, Justin Trudeau has spent more money than all other prime ministers combined. Those are mass deficits. Even cutting the services, cutting certain programs, cutting fat cat salary wages, cutting red tape. There still needs to be more money generated to come in to cover our losses. So my guess, I mean, RC, look, you're entitled to your opinion. I agree to disagree. I've spoken to Danielle privately as well as personally, like in a public forum. So based on what I know as her as a person, I'm going to say that you're wrong, but I understand how people feel that way. And I'm not going to say you're wrong. You're entitled to your opinion. But when you look at what's happening with health services, these are the people who wanted to lock you up. The sheriff of Nottingham was married to one of the heads of QP, of the unions. And they didn't call that a conflict of interest. Why? This is what I was talking about on Wednesday's stream, that the government is now flaunting the corruption in our faces and saying we can get away with whatever we want.
No, you can't stop me.
We can take all your money. We can scandal after scandal after scandal. We can have conflicts of interest. We don't have to provide documents. We don't have to do anything ethical. And there's nothing you can do about it because we're just going to use parliamentary privilege. We're going to use every loophole under the counter to get away with what we're doing. Trudeau's commie renewing the membership to the Patriots Club. Temporary workers have were arrested in Chestermere yesterday. My boss lives there and videotaped it. Good if that's the case. They should get out of here. I know, and that's again another thing with Danielle Smith. She's put her foot down and said no more temporary foreign workers, no more migrants. We're not taking any more of Trudeau's border jumping migrants. We're not doing it. I think what she said in her interview, and again, don't quote me because I'd have to go back and look at the numbers. But she said somewhere around 40,000 we took province-wide. And she said, we're not taking any more. You know, we wanted to help out. We wanted to do our part when it came to displacement for people from the Ukraine, from different parts of the world. But she says with the rising crime rates in Toronto, with everything that's happening under Justin Trudeau's open border policies, we're not taking any more and risking Albertans' futures when we don't have the jobs, we don't have the homes, we don't have the space for them, shut it down. What do we got here? What do you think about Jeff Davidson throwing his hat into the mayor's race? So, Brett, I had anyone's better than Jody Gondek. So, Brett, I did have somebody reach out to me about that the other day and ask the same question over email. I'm reserved until I hear until I hear what they want to do with their campaign. I've heard rumor that Jeremy Farkas is going to run again. I really hope he does, because I think Farkas could nail it if he runs again. Sean Gao with $5 super chat. According to redacted news, Trudeau was at UN applying for Secretary UN General position. Any thoughts? Is Trudeau accepting defeat? So I've heard the same rumor, but again, Sean, I've heard rumors this week that the Governor General has been approached to prorogue Parliament, that we're going to see Parliament shut down. We're going into the Thanksgiving weekend, where Parliament's only been in session for what, a couple weeks out of the year so far?
Yeah.
Well, since summer.
Yeah. Since their last break.
I stand with everybody in our chat who is always, every time we put out a video about it, they're all saying, if you're not going to work, you shouldn't be getting paid.
No, absolutely not.
And this is part of the problem with proroguing Parliament, is that they're all going to get their paychecks while they sit at home and do nothing, and the country's at a standstill. How is that going to affect Canadians?
And all he's doing is stalling because he doesn't want to give up some papers.
Well, they must be very incriminating if
Like,
they're not wanting to give them up. Master of Snatch chiming in. You know, they got people in the UK to lower the standards and expectations for life. They bought in austerity and stopped spending with the domestic population, on their domestic population. Yes, absolutely. How much is it going to cost Canadians for them to prorogue Parliament? Think of all the things like, yes, again, Justin's censorship bill can't go through. We've seen royal assent go through rushed for the pharmacare bill, which is a clear sign they're going to prorogue Parliament.
Oh, they've been planning it for sure.
Chrystia Freeland sat in a press conference this week and, oh, no, we're not going to do anything like that. Well, beg to differ.
They've never said that before.
It's Joe Lyman. I fully support Trudeau and Freeland taking up UN positions. It'll encourage many governments globally to keep their money for their people. Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, I would tend to agree with that one, Joe. I mean, what is it Kevin O'Leary said about Justin Trudeau? I wouldn't put him in charge of a candy store.
No.
If you had him at the UN, like, could you imagine him and Jolie? That would be Jennifer saying, everywhere I look now in Victoria, women in hijabs. Yeah, again, part of the reason we wanted to leave Calgary. If we take our kids to the local park,
we're the token white people.
We're the token white people. And everybody that is white is speaking, well, I'm going to say Ukrainian.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they speak some form of Russian. But you can't understand anything anybody's saying.
I love that our little guy doesn't care. I mean, he'll go in the middle of a big family and just play with everybody.
Hey, he doesn't care. But when we go to the stores, when you go out, it's there. We're the token minority everywhere we go in town. And people say, well, that's a racist statement. Well, it's nothing about racism. It's that I don't want to be around people who don't know how to drive, people who are aggressive, people who poop in my streets, people who take everyone's jobs and crap all over them and refuse to work and actually provide a service.
But it's the aggressiveness. It's a completely different culture that they're coming into as friendly Canadians are being pushed out.
But we're hearing about people getting assaulted on transit regularly because these guys
sales
come over.
Staff being talked down to worse than a Karen. It's ridiculous.
But these people come over and I'm always told, well, somebody once tried to excuse, and I've talked about this person who allegedly, I have to say allegedly because of articles, allegedly assaulted somebody at the West Edmonton Mall water park.
Yeah.
Several underage girls. There were actually people at that time making excuses for that guy, saying, well, he comes from a country that's war ravaged, where that's part of their culture. Are you kidding me? Like, you're going to give them a pass for behaving like animals? for doing the most unethical thing on the planet? Master says, I once pooped in a coffee in an officer cup. Well, I mean,
You once pooped in a washing machine, or was it dryer?
it was a dryer. I was drunk and I was 16.
Oh, right. I'm not supposed to share this.
It's jeez.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
Lucas saying, Derek, we had quite a few witnesses speak on his behalf. Yeah, that's the problem. You've got people out there that virtue signal. That I've seen videos going around in the United States of people wearing hijabs in their silly little 1-bedroom 500 square foot apartments going, I renounce my American citizenship. I now identify as Palestinian. Are you kidding? Then get on a plane and go over there.
I want to be an immigrant too, so I can get some money.
I want to be, yeah, I'll identify as an immigrant for all the handouts. Programmer X with $5 super chat. I work part-time at a hardware store. I get people who get mad at me because I won't haggle on the regular priced items. They literally yell. Absolutely. Yeah. But again, people say, well, and thank you, by the way, for the $5 super chat. That is the way we're told, well, that's part of their culture. Everywhere they go, they haggle. Then stay where you live.
It's not the culture here, and we're not changing it. Well, we shouldn't have to change it, but I think it's coming down that we will, right?
Here's what I've been saying for the longest time. When I was growing up, I was always told, if you don't like what's on TV, change the channel. Shut it off. If you don't like what people are doing, don't go there. Right? Like if you say, well, they don't haggle for price or for items in Canada, okay, well, I'm not going to move there, or I have to change the way I am. I have to do this thing called, well, I don't know, assimilate,
adapt to your surroundings.
I mean, Kevin's saying no DEI. DEI's got to go. I'm so sick of hearing about it everywhere you go. Oh, look how diverse we are. I don't give a shit if I'm here to get a 2x4, how diverse your store is. I want a good price. I want somebody who knows what they're talking about. I want to get my stuff. I want to get out. I want to go home and get back to paying my taxes that suck.
But it's a hardware store, not a car dealership. Like, you can't haggle prices.
No.
It's like going into Walmart and be like, I want to pay 50 cents for this milk jug. Like, you can't do that.
I just... Yeah, and Jennifer chiming in, they get $9,000 a month, so they all come over. It's the easiest country to get into right now in the Western world. You just waltz right in and say, oh, asylum. And they go, okay, no problem. Here's your hotel room. Here's your checks. Here's your money every day. Here's your allowance. Here's your living for having
Let's bring
children.
Your family
We're going to
over.
give you Canada Child Benefit, even though you're not a Canadian, which, by the way, we all pay for. Like, when is enough enough? Right? Like, we look at the Canada Child Benefit, and even with myself making an income, a good income, by the way, and my wife making her income at her job, they had to use the Canada Child Benefit for us to qualify to upgrade our home. Because even with our jobs, you don't make enough. And you start going, isn't this country in the
we
toilet?
thought it was a good income, but I don't think there's any such thing anymore.
Steal Your Blocks, becoming a new member of the Patriots Club. Welcome to the Patriots Club. Great to have you in here. I can't say the beginning of this mouth, but they served me coffee at Sing Hortons on Monday, and I've been sick ever since. There's great video.
The videos you showed me yesterday
from RPN or Red Pill North. If you guys follow them on Twitter or on YouTube, go check out their YouTube. They did a funny dub of a Tim Hortons like theme song about their quality and their food. I can't show it on here because I don't know if it's copywritten or if they're claiming copyright on that, but go check out RPN. They've got great videos. It's definitely worth a watch.
Definitely makes me want to swear off Tim Hortons, honestly.
Night of Falima saying, I bet if you and your wife were dark-skinned and worked at Tim Hortons, you would have qualified easily for your new house. We'd be driving BMWs right now. We'd be living in an $800,000 home, and we'd be working part-time hours.
Oh, the jewelry we would have.
And part-time hours. And we'd be popping out kids like herpes.
Yeah.
I said, and again, I don't like to sound like a racist guy, but years ago, I used to tell people that the Indian migrants that are coming over here are like Starbucks. which I always said Starbucks was the herpes of
One
coffee
of every
chains.
quarter, yeah.
One pops up and then all of a sudden they pop up everywhere. They're just they just multiply. And if their country is so great, why aren't they staying there? I really have a problem with people who come from other countries. And I don't care what color your skin is, but when you come from another country that you've turned into a shithole, to come to my country and turn it into a shithole, I've got a problem with that. I mean, I showed you the video this week of people in Vancouver yelling death to Canada.
Yeah.
Burning flags, throwing them on the ground, ripping them in half. And Justin Trudeau goes to Sugon on a
He does.
vacation
That we're paying for.
that we're paying for. He
'Cause he
leaves
doesn't wanna
Canada.
work.
He flees to go surfing in Vietnam. He could sug on these nuts. Sean Gow with another $5 super chat. I delivered beside Red Cross on Dixon Road. Almost every morning I see African immigrants brought here with bags a few minutes away by Pearson Airport.
Wow.
You should see, if you've ever watched the video footage on Roxham Road, the people that are just flooding over. And at one point, New York admitting they were sending people here on purpose. They were giving them a bus ticket to have a chartered bus drop all of them off and say they're Canada's problem.
Yep. Well, we were taking them and paying for it.
It's East London is all Muslims. Look at what you call Brampton.
Yeah.
Brampton, they call it Little India. Mark Pope with the $5 super chat. My fiance is from Russia and she's been refused entry here for 2 years straight. She's white and speaks English. Questions? Yeah. And what's funny is that even if you're married or if you're going to get married, they push back. But if you say, "Oh, I'm coming here seeking asylum," come on in. Come on in. I know people are going to flag me for being racist. I really don't care. Thank you. Come again. Mr. Steal Your Blocks, $5 super chat. It's like that immigrant spitting into that guy's juice in Toronto. Pull that crap, you're gone. So if you guys missed that video, I showed you that where the guy, it was all over TikTok. It was all over social media. A guy ordered DoorDash, and it was either DoorDash or Skip. Either way, it was a delivery company. And it didn't matter. Like he didn't do anything wrong. The guy didn't cuss him out or not tip him. He tipped him well because he mentions that in the video. But this East Indian driver comes up and spits in his drink before he comes to the door, and the Ring doorbell caught it on camera. And he goes inside and sees the video footage and comes back out before the guy leaves and says, "Why'd you spit in my cup? I paid you well. I mean, why would you?" And he goes, "I don't know. I don't know why, sir. I'm sorry."
And how many people has he done that
But
to?
that's just it. You pay a premium for those delivery services, I might add.
Oh, you're paying
at least double. At least double. It's first off, I've never once used Skip the Dishes or DoorDash. I don't agree with it. We had our friends order.
We did
one
once,
time,
and it took 2.5 hours for it to get here.
They ordered it because they said how convenient and great it was. I hated it. I said we'll never use it again. I don't agree with that stuff. It's funny because even when you call like your local pizza place in town, like if the kids are doing like a party with their friends or something and we order pizza, even if it's in the neighborhood, they charge you like $5 to deliver it now, and they contract it out to somebody else, where they used to just rely on people to tip the drivers.
Yeah.
And they'd give them a small fee, and it was worked into the price of what they're charging for their pizza. But now it's, well, you're going to pay the fee, and if you want it faster, you're going to pay another fee. And then if you're going to want a priority on top of that, you're going to pay another fee if you don't want them to be mad at you.
They keep adding more and more and more, and these drivers are expecting tips.
If you don't want a driver to rub his testicles all over your food, you got to pay a fee for that. And if you don't want somebody to spit in your drink,
now I don't trust.
Give him $25 extra. Like,
no thanks.
Yeah. How much is that $5 Subway sandwich? Oh, I guess it's 15 now. How much is that $15 Subway sandwich to have it delivered? Oh, $85. Cool. I'm good with that. Like, who does that?
Convenience.
Xylo, learn to cook at home and teach your kids to do it as well. We do. I know you can't really tell by this puckish exterior, but we're in that boat very much. I love cooking. Barbecuing especially. That's the barbecue season.
You do the outside, I do the inside. But I mean, even little Steve was helping me with chicken tonight. So
we try to as much as possible. There's nights where the kids have something going on, or like when we were doing our showings and like somebody would come at 5:30 where We can't be in the house. The kids are hungry. We'll go get something. But
it's easier than dealing with hangry, but
we try not to do
it's
it
cheaper.
because not only is it expensive as hell, the quality sucks. And you're probably going to run into somebody who's doing what this other guy did, spitting in your
No, thank
your
you.
food.
I remember years ago, what was it, 90s, where people were spitting in McDonald's burgers. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Live in a small town. Pizza Hut's 5 minutes away. $8 delivery charge. Yeah.
Wow.
I go down the road anytime we've ordered pizza. I just get in the car and go get it.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to tip anybody. I don't have to. And you always get the dirty looks when you walk in.
Mhm.
Like, oh, you're picking it up? Yeah. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to give you my kidney in return for delivering a pizza.
But I find I have an issue with that because when you are picking up, they care more about the delivery driver's food than they do yours. Like, I remember sitting in there for 30 minutes after it was supposed to be ready, but nobody was helping me because they were worried about the delivery and skip drivers.
But that's the problem when people are paying the premium is that all other customers take a back seat.
Yeah.
You're just pushed to the back of the line. It's
I'm
never
still
about
a paying customer.
It's never about service. And Kevin saying they think you owe them.
Yeah, right?
And that's so we've had when you go to restaurants, anytime you go to a restaurant now, the machines, even tipping. I've always hated tipping. We've had multiple discussions about tipping when we go out. But the whole purpose of tipping was that it was first originated to get better service. It was people slipping a maitre d' some money when they're being seated that, hey, we'll get quality, faster service. And over time, it has now turned into an expected gratuity.
Mandatory.
That, don't get me wrong, if a server does a good job, if you guys have ever seen Reservoir Dogs, I take Steve Buscemi's terms on tipping very, very close to the heart, Mr. Pink, who says, I don't tip unless, my coffee gets filled so many times if they work, if they hustle, because they should. That's the whole point of a tip. I got extra service.
Yes.
Right? I shouldn't have to make up for somebody's low wages. Granted, I still feel bad that they're underpaid in the first place by their employers for everything they have to put up with. When I look at the way they're treated by a lot of these Karens when we ever go out or...
Well, and even the tips aren't specifically for them. They've got to split it with everybody in some places.
But tipping to me, anytime you used to tip, I remember people saying 15% was usually good.
That was really good.
And it was 15% was considered very good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, in the last 5 years or so, all of a sudden it's, well, now you got to tip 18%. Now the industry standard's 20%.
The minimum is 15.
We went, I forget where we went one time. It was either Father's Day or it was somebody's event of some kind. Might have been Stampede season. It was somewhere we went where it automatically, the lowest tip amount was what, 30%?
Yeah. And it was automatically put on. It wasn't.
And they said, well, you had 6 people at the table, so we're automatically charging this gratuity.
3 of them were kids.
And the server didn't come by. The server came by one time out of a 1-hour meal. Didn't even check how is everything, how's things going. And that's the problem is you get these entitled people now that go, well, I don't have to work because this is automatic.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, you're a dick.
But I shouldn't have to go to Subway or McDonald's and be expected to tip there either.
Romanian Patriot, I don't tip because due to the supplies, as we all know,
struggles
that we all know with the economy. I get it. I mean, look at here's the problem. Be the dick, says Christian. Yeah. Here's the problem. I sympathize for those who are working that actually can't help it. If we've ever gone somewhere and a server is really busy because they're understaffed, they can't get around as quick and they're apologetic.
Yeah, but you notice that.
You notice
right?
it and you go, okay, I'm not gonna kill them over this.
But if they're sitting behind the counter or going having 6 cigarette breaks,
watching TikTok,
yeah,
while they're working, no, you gotta actually care about your job if you want to make a living, and that goes for any company, right? If I went to a job and was sitting on my phone or dicking around, they'd fire me. They wouldn't put up with my antics. They'd say, you got to work or you got to go home. One of the two. It's what's next? Tipping the cashier at the supermarket. Mystical, don't jinx it because I got a feeling that's coming. Everywhere you go now, what I was about to get into is everywhere you go now, you're told to tip, right? We go to one of the days that we had a showing, we took the kids to Subway.
Yeah.
Because they wanted a sandwich, and again, I don't like Subway, but that's what they prefer. Fine,
I'd rather that.
I'd rather happy
McDonald's
kids than a bunch of screaming idiots. But we go to Subway, And it's, well, now do you want to tip me for making your sandwich? You made a sandwich. It's your job. This isn't a restaurant. You didn't do anything out of the ordinary. You took my order, right? You go to McDonald's sometimes. It's, would you like to tip on top? No. I hear stories about all these weird places that now ask for tips. And you're frowned upon if you don't do it. One of my friends told me about a gas station that asked if you wanted to leave a tip for self-serve.
Oh my God.
Self-serve gas. I think it was either Matt Walsh or Benny Johnson, who did a really funny video when they were at an airport. They have an airport convenience store that is all automated. There is no employees. And when you go out and pay for your $5 water at the airport, it still asks, would you like to leave a tip? For who? There's nobody working here.
We should just leave random machines out for tipping.
Stinger says Mr. Sub is way better. They don't have any of those in Calgary. They got rid of them all. I think there's one, but it's like on the other end of town.
Yeah.
JD saying, I pick up all the time, never tip. My orders paying their salary. I don't get tipped at work for maintaining a refinery where you get your fuel. Tip your doctor next. Well, that's again where I say don't jinx it because it's coming. That's the problem now. And this is where it all trails back to where I was saying with Alberta Health Services and all these CEOs taking the top dollars. All these companies now are pushing it onto the consumer because they're taking a page out of the government's book. We can have all these nice things and just push it onto the end user, and they can pay for it all. So we can pay low wages to our employees, and we can keep all the profits, and it's up to the customers to make sure that our employees are properly looked after. It's not our job anymore, right? Just like our taxes, just like our carbon taxes, just like green slush funds. It's the same playbook. And that's what we're starting to see in industry now is we're going to keep all our money and it's up to you to compensate. You have to figure it out. That doesn't work for me. Don't eat yellow snow. That's a tip. I've used that one a lot of times. Land of Seven Lakes. If things get bad politically, no one protests. The price of bacon goes up and people are off to battle. You're screwing with people's livelihoods. But yes, I get what you're saying.
Trying to catch up.
I'm trying to catch up with the chat. I apologize, guys. I apologize.
And then there's the low.
I think tipping should just stay put it at fine dining restaurants. Yeah. It's here the way I see tipping. I think all companies should just work in what they feel is a fair price to their products and pass on better wages to their employees. Tipping should be abolished. It should be absolutely abolished. There are restaurants out there where I've seen them where they're told they cannot take tips because they're paid handsomely for what they do. And I think everywhere should deal like that. Nahid Nenshi, or Nenshit, as I call him, we talked about this last week on the stream where he was tweeting out that, oh, we're the lowest wage province in Alberta and we need to raise the minimum wage. Now, when you raise that minimum wage, we all saw what happened the last time they did that in Alberta. They fired all the fast food employees and brought in automated machines. And now the restaurants are understaffed. So anytime you go to a McDonald's or a Tim Hortons or anywhere that you want to eat out of a slurry bucket, you're told, thanks for coming through the drive-thru. Now pull over to the side for 20 minutes and wait for us to prepare your food because we don't have the staff to compensate for it. Yet you're paying exorbitant prices for the things that you're ordering. So like you used to go to McDonald's, a Big Mac meal might be $7.99. Now it's almost $20. Yet they can't make it fast enough when you order it that you're waiting.
It's not fast food.
And it's crap food. So you're better off. Like that's kind of what we started to figure out once we had a third kid was that for the price of going to a drive-through, you're better off going and getting Chinese food or getting pizza or getting chicken from somewhere that is typically a more expensive meal.
And it's honestly going to take just as long to get.
You pay just as much, but usually you'll at least have leftovers or you'll have something to show for your money.
Yeah.
It still isn't good that you're paying that much to eat. But when you need to do it, it's the point is that Raising the minimum wage isn't going to do anything. It's not going to compensate.
No way.
The price of food goes up. The price of everything goes up. And employees' minimum wage doesn't make anything because so how do I kind of screwed the pooch on that? If they raise the minimum wage, places like Walmart, places like fast food restaurants, anywhere that minimum wage people typically shop in order to get by on what they're making, all of a sudden can't afford anything because those places will raise the cost of their goods. So their minimum wage is a paradox. The middle class are the ones that struggle because if you make just above the minimum wage, so if, for example, if they raise the minimum wage to $20 an hour and you make 21, all of a sudden your money that used to go further when wages were at 15 do nothing because you're in the same boat as minimum wage workers. Danielle with $5 super chat. At Walmart, the self-checkout asked if I want to give a tip. What the hell? I've heard of that. They don't have that at our local Walmart, but I've heard of that.
Wow.
People need to stop using self-checkout. I talked about that in one of my videos last week where we were pointing out podcasters that were saying they're now stealing because self-checkouts, it's easy to do so. Yet they're the commies that are voting in people like Justin Trudeau. They're the cause of this problem. And they're going, oh, I'll just steal. I don't care. Well, it's because of the self-checkouts that people are
But
able
all
to do
that's
it.
going to do is raise prices more and more and more.
Trudeau's a commie says tax breaks for low-wage jobs. Yes, but it should be tax breaks around the table. Except for those who are making, ridiculous amount of the 1%. You make more money, you should be taxed. And in this country and in the United States, it's the other way around. The more money you make, if you're a billionaire, you get all these loopholes, you get all these benefits and perks. I'll tell you right now, I didn't realize until I incorporated how many tax breaks you can get and loopholes you can get to spend the same amount of money that you normally would under a regular job. I will tell you right now, I will fight to make sure I stay incorporated for a very long time because so look at it this way. You as a working employee pay roughly what, 40%
Yes.
tax when you add up everything on your paycheck. When I go to tax season, I pay roughly what, 10%? So, and that's just from being incorporated.
That's why a lot of people in oil and gas contract.
A lot of people in oil and gas contract as a result, because why would they want to pay more taxes?
Yeah, and they get paid more for contracting because they're paying their own taxes.
I hate self-checkout. My usual response is being coaxed is, sorry, I don't work here. And I seen it. Rachel saying they should offer a provide a discount. Yes, you're doing all the work yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I had that conversation with somebody and they said, well, if you ever went to like a Loblaws in the early 80s, people were like this when it was bag your own groceries. 80s and 90s. They'd say, oh, I don't want to bag my own groceries. I'll go to Safeway or I'll go to IGA or I'll go wherever for groceries. And that was the big thing back then. Now they're saying, well, I don't work here. I'm not going to use the self-checkouts. The self-checkouts shouldn't exist because you've got a couple of minimum wage employees rushing around to all the different self-checkout tills to make sure you're not stealing anything while you're doing their job, scanning everything through. Turkey was super pricey at the grocery store. It was bonkers again. Inflation is nuts. Master of Snatch and good old friend of the channel, CB, showed me a butterball turkey for this weekend coming into Thanksgiving. It's a good time to talk about this. That was sitting at, what was it, $85? $85 for a butterball turkey, a standard, what was that, a 10 kg turkey? Who can afford to do that? They get $8,000 landing bonus, clothing allowance, furniture allowance, child monthly payments, a hotel to start, and they pay homage to who they believe are responsible for giving asylum. Yes, but that's where the problem sits when we get a new government. They want those people just as bad as Justin Trudeau. Because these people come over and they don't know anything about our politics. They vote for whoever gave them their ability to live here. Trudeau's a commie, $2 super chat, 325 likes for free memberships. There you go, guys. If anybody wants to get their name in the ring for free Patriots Club memberships, get those thumbs ups in the stream. If we can get to 325, costs you nothing to hit that button. Trudeau's a commie is going to gift out some memberships, and maybe you'll luck out and become a part of our Patriots Club tonight. Danielle Sweeney chiming in. I just saw turkeys at $80. God, please help us. I mean, I don't buy butterball turkeys either, Len, but you get what I'm saying is that average everyday supermarkets that typically stock those items charging preposterous numbers in order to move their products. And what's very unfortunate is that these grocery stores, when they get rid of those products after Thanksgiving, anything that doesn't sell, anything that spoils, anything that perishes, they write it off. It just gets tossed. That's food that could have fed hungry people that can't afford to eat. And now you're just tossing it and writing it off because you wanted to make your profits. I have a huge issue with that. Ingrid saying it's getting totally out of control. It is, and it's sad. It's so sad. I've heard of people in certain places. You think about the Northwest Territories, the Yukon, places where they have to fly in food, and groceries were already super expensive. They're saying that parents are cutting out their meals down to like one meal a day, if that sometimes now, just to feed their kids because their groceries are through the roof. I don't know how people are going to do it. I really don't know how people are going to get by. Danny's saying the average $3.50 pound for fresh turkeys from local growers. Yes, local's always the way to go if you can find somebody local. The Amish are always a good one. I've heard that. I've heard people say the Amish. What we have to start. I don't know how this gets fixed. I really don't know how this gets fixed. Because when Pierre Poilievre comes in and says, let's axe the tax, grocers have been blaming the carbon tax forever, saying that the carbon tax, the cost of bringing it in, is what gets reflected in the cost of food. Does anybody in this chat really think that when Pierre axes the tax, grocery stores are suddenly going to slash their prices and say, oh, everything's back to normal now. We can come back to a reasonable amount for our food? There's going to have to be some kind of legislation that rules that retailers can only charge a certain amount for their products or something along those lines.
Well, Loblaws has gotten in so much trouble so many times for price gouging.
Well, they had price fixing. There was a huge lawsuit for the price fixing of bread.
Yeah.
Back in, I think it was 2015 or
not
2014, somewhere around there. They had to give away a whole bunch of free gift cards to people. Steer Your Blocks just got back from Dawson City, Yukon last week. Some food was actually cheaper in Whitehorse than Alberta. It blew my mind. I'm glad to hear that. I don't know how they're going to fix the grocery system. Because if you think,
you could do what we've always said with gas, like just boycott one store and then they'll all have to come down. But
it's getting people to actually do that.
Yeah.
Is the problem. It's Stinger saying they'll have to have legislation for sure. I don't know how people are going to make it by. I don't know how people are going to get through it. It's Daphne Devine re-upping her membership for 8 months. Wow. Thank you, Daphne. What about TD Bank trouble having to pay
$3
billion admitting to washing money for drug cartels? I mean, aren't we supposed to have a system in place to prevent that? I have no pity for the big banks.
We're supposed to have a system in place to prevent a lot of things, but we have a government that just kind of changes the rules to benefit him, right?
Joe Lyman chiming in, food prices are simply axe fuel costs and double down on cheaper energy. It's Marty up north once did a comparison for Jagmeet Singh complaining that Galen Weston was the problem in the food pricing, that he's taking all this profit, that he made 500 million or something like that, or whatever it was that he made in a year. But when you broke it all down to the cost of employees, the cost of their buildings, the cost of getting the food to the store, once everything was done, yes, they made a profit, but it wasn't near what Jagmeet Singh had said. Now, that being said, they must be getting a profit somewhere in record numbers, because when you go into in Western Canada, I know for those who are watching in Eastern Canada, I don't know how many of you have the real Canadian Superstore. We go to Superstore down here. I haven't gone shopping in there since our last excursion,
It
which
gives me wicked anxiety.
I went in there a couple weeks ago with my kids because we were just in the area. I had to pick up a few
It
things.
used to be very comparable to Walmart.
Very comparable to Walmart. In fact, sometimes you could do it cheaper.
Yeah.
And I went in there with the kids and said, yeah, we'll grab a few things and then we'll go home. We'll make lunch. We'll do whatever. And we went through there and I grabbed a few groceries because our kids hate doing grocery shopping on the weekend. So I said, while we're here, we'll just grab a few things. It saves time for the weekend. I bought barely anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost the cost of buying a week's worth of groceries at Walmart.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe how expensive Superstore has become. I just said, I can't shop here anymore. I won't. In fact, when we go grocery shopping now, it's a full event because I have to go to different grocers in order just to keep the weekly bill low. So like you'll get sandwich meat from somewhere like Sobeys, where specific lunch meats that my kids want are typically cheaper there than anywhere else. You'll go to Walmart to get boxed things like cookies, crackers, lunch snacks, drink boxes. Go to Costco to get bulk dinner items, things we're going to make for meals.
Yeah.
Poultry,
It's
hamburger
a whole
meat.
day event just to get a week's worth of groceries.
Because any of the stores, if you buy those items at those other stores, you're paying more for less quality. And it really sucks. MML saying we go to Walmart first, then get what we can't get at Walmart at Sobeys.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like that for us. So like when it comes to the cat food, when it comes to dog food, when it comes to paper towels, like we got to do multiple different stores on the deals. Typically, I'll do Costco for that stuff.
And I'm always checking the flyers to see where the deals are that week to, oh, this is something we always buy. Let's get it from here because we're saving $3. But no, it's ridiculous.
Even buying a co-op is really expensive.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a co-op in a long time. The only thing I'll ever get at co-op is their steak, because I find that their meat quality is really good. But I'll only pop in there if I don't have time to go to Costco.
Their fruit. Sometimes we'll splurge on fruit there because we can't at Walmart because it's bad by the time you even get it home.
Clinton Jaws is in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys haven't seen Clinton Jaws' channel, check him out. I'd like to get you in here one time to chat. I've been following Clinton's videos for quite some time. Former RCMP. He's got a great show. Love hearing your opinion. So true about going to different grocery stores. Can't buy meat at Walmart.
No.
My God, you can't get anything at Walmart because
Meat,
it's all
any produce, vegetables, anything at Walmart. No.
Miss Danny saying Clinton who? Clinton Jaws. Clinton Jaws. Clinton Jaws. Go check him out. He's got good quality content. If you like things like Moose on the Loose, you're gonna love Clinton Jaws. He's got a good show. He's climbing up the YouTube ladder. Again, he's got a great show. Love to have him on here sometime to chat about politics. But thanks for popping in, Clinton. I appreciate that. I had no idea you even watched this channel. So great to have you here. There, who said it? I saw it. Diana, I watched the Jaws. There you go. Welcome in. Good to hear. I'm happy to hear that. The problem in a city like Calgary, where they say that everything's prosperous, that people make some of the best middle-class wages in the country because of the oil and gas industry, and people can't afford to eat. People can't afford to live their day-to-day life. That was part of the reason that we sold the house, and now we're going to move. Because we looked at the cost of living here, and it's not that we can't afford to live here. It's that
we're just getting by.
We're just getting by, and we make a good living. So we're sitting here saying, why would we stay? Why would we pay all this money when we can live somewhere else where there's less crime, there's less woke nonsense going on?
Well, the culture is
different.
Calgary's changed.
I don't have people pooping on my beach. I don't have people pooping at the gas stations.
We don't have a beach.
We don't have a beach, but that's okay. Mike TV Dub, sub to Clinton. Here's the YouTube. Yes, absolutely. Head over and give Clinton some love. Tell them the Fringe sent you. It's why would you want to? It's the same reason we go to different grocery stores. Yes, I can get it all at one place. Yes, I could pay stupid prices and get low quality. But and then people will say, well, you're driving around though. You're driving around town.
15-minute cities, everything's right next to
you're
each
burning
other.
You're burning fuel, so you're spending money to get there. It's like, yeah, but if I'm going to get quality, and if I'm going to save a little here and there, it all adds up versus the fuel.
Yes.
And besides, I want to burn carbon and piss off Justin Trudeau. So
Nobody will burn as much as he does.
we'll never burn as much as him.
What was it? I saw that he burns.
Except maybe, you know what? Doug Ford, after eating one of his cheesecakes, might burn more carbon out of his backside.
But Justin Trudeau, I saw a thing that says he burns 5,000 times carbon.
Peggy saying, did you sell? Yes, we did, Peggy. If you missed the beginning of the stream, we did finally sell the house. Where
9 more likes.
We need 9 more likes to get some
likes.
Gifted memberships. If you guys want to get a membership to the Patriots Club or be in the running, get those thumbs up in the stream down below, ladies and gents. Let's go. It'll be great to see some people get some memberships tonight. Yeah, we sold the house. We're moving at the end of November. Again, for anybody in the Calgary region or anybody around Calgary that wants to meet with myself, Mrs. Fringe, again, keep your eyes and ears open. I will post a community announcement as well as multiple announcements on streams once we pick a date. Again, we're going to be organizing a goodbye party for the kids. We're going to be getting together with some friends and family before we leave. So once we got all those things planned, there will be a night for us to get out and meet all of you, sign some books. So if you have any copies of How the Prime Minister Stole Freedom or any of our other great books, I will happily sign those for you guys, do selfies, whatever you guys want to do. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys in Calgary. And then once we move to Spruce Grove, again, we're moving just a couple weeks before Christmas, but at some point that we find it good for everyone, we will book a meet and greet in and around Spruce Grove / Edmonton for all you guys that want to get to meet up. Are the kids going to a new school? Well, they're going to have to, because I don't see them coming all the way to Calgary for school. Holy crap. Trudeau's economy gifting 10 unacceptable Fringe memberships. My God. Welcome to all 10 Patriots Club members. Enjoy your benefits. You're now 10 more people in the running for one of our embroidered, not sold in stores, unacceptable Fringe
Which
hoodies.
is coming up here in December.
The draw will be up in December as soon as we move and can have them shipped. It's welcome into all those memberships. Wow, Trudeau's economy, thank you again for your loyalty to the stream and for your recognition. I really appreciate everything you do on this channel, and to everybody who views this channel. But as we get on with the evening, ladies and gents, I know I can hear the pitter patter of my my young ones
down
upstairs, and I do have to keep this house in some kind of good condition moving into selling this house, because if they destroy it, we're screwed. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a minute to thank everybody who chimed into the stream tonight, everybody who showed some love towards the Fringe. Danielle Sweeney, Trudeau's Akami, Lucas C, RC Lamoureux, Mark Pope, Mr. Steal Your Blocks, Carson Sexsmith, Aaron Marson, Sean Gao, Programmer X, I already said Mark Pope, I believe. If I didn't, Mark Pope, Danielle Sweeney again, Daphne Devine re-upping her membership, a Romanian Patriot, everybody who super chatted tonight, who gave memberships, who joined us on the live stream. Thank you so much for coming in. Shout out again to Clinton Jaws for joining us in the stream again. Reach out in the chat sometime if you want to come have a talk on one of the live streams. I'd love to have you in to get your to pick your brain a little. Again, to everybody else, there's Trudeau's economy. I want a hoodie. You're in the draw, my friend. Welcome to the Patriots Club. Let's get something going soon. Keep your eyes out for content this weekend, ladies and gents. God, my throat is going. I think I'm getting that long COVID they always talk about.
No.
Keep your heads up in the streams, ladies and gents. There's new content coming out this weekend, and again, I'll have great videos dropping for you all week long here on the Fringe. Thank you to everybody who joined us in the live stream. It was great to see you all, and I look forward to chatting with you guys again. We'll try and do a surprise stream at some point during the week, so hit that bell for notifications. Join us live. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And stay safe. If you're drinking, please don't drive. It's not worth it. Don't risk somebody else's life over your own stupidity. Enjoy the weekend. Have a great time. Be with your family. Hug your loved ones. Enjoy your turkey if you can afford one, or whatever you'll be consuming this Thanksgiving.
KFC. It's the good Thanksgiving.
White trash, good old Smith family Thanksgiving. Have a great weekend, folks. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.